Get your tickets now for the 23rd annual edition of the OUTshine LGBTQ+ Film Festival happening April 23rd to May 2nd. Don't miss our incredible grand opening drive-in event followed by 10 days of non-stop films from here and all around the world that you can watch at home. Watch trailers and get your tickets at OUTshineFilm.com now.
The beginning, how did the story come to be? I know you were the co-writers as well, so did sort of how did the idea come to be of this story?
All right. میگه در اصل چجوری اصلا ایده به ذهنتون اومد چون که نویسنده خودتون هستین میخوام بگم چجوری ایده از بیسیک به وجود اومد و چی شد که اصلا به ساخته ایده افتاد؟
در درجه اول در واقع یک کانسپت تبعیض یا بردهداری نوین مد نظر بود برامون که یک طبقه نسبت به یک طبقه اعمال میکنه.
All right, the beginning was the idea of the new slavery and the inequality between two kind of communities. That was the idea of going through making a movie like this and talking about a community which is not really appreciated and accepted in a big society.
بعد اون وقت ما دنبال همچین سوژه میگشتیم که برسیم که چطور یک طبقه رو یک جامعه رو میتونیم به عنوان یک اقلیت در واقع یک اقلیتی که بهش یک تبعیض یا یک چیزی تو جامعه مثلا طبقه چندم جامعه قرار بگیره. جامعه ایران هم چون جنسیت 0-1 در واقع یا تو باید زن باشی یا مرد باشی به تعریف دیگه وجود نداره ازش. خب وقتی یه ترنس کاملا انگار نقش یک چیز رو پیدا میکنه یه نقشی که انگار انسانیتش چند درجه میاد پایین شهروند درجه چندم به حساب.
So they've been looking in the communities to see which kind of minority community they can look for and they can target for this purpose. And in the society of Iran, because it's a binary code, like you gotta be a man or you gotta be a woman. So there's nothing in between. So this community of the transsexuals would be a good, perfect match for what we were looking for.
Yeah, and I think this was your first film. So to take on such a massive undertaking of not only making a film is difficult, making a gay or lesbian film is difficult, and making a transgender film, it's like layers on top of layers. Do you think that was any more difficult? Were there more sort of parameters put on you? And, and also, before I forget, is there you always hear of censorship issues. Is that a big issue? And how, if that is, did you sort of skirt around that for this particular story?
میگه که همینجوری فیلم ساختن که سخته چون که فیلم اولتون بود بعد فیلم ساختن راجع به گی و لزبیانا سخته فیلم ساختن راجع به سکشوالا دوباره سخت‌تره همه اینا رو به هم دیگه به علاوه سنسورشیپی که وجود داره چقدر اینا رو برای شما مثلا محدودیت ایجاد کرد و با این سنسورشیپ‌ها چجوری تونستین کارتون رو پیش ببرید اذیت کننده بود براتون نبود
خب طبیعتاً ولی چالشش جذاب بود.
Definitely, it was a challenging part. Our producer is laughing because he's been doing a lot of movies before, but the director, this is the first time. So it was maybe not challenging for him, but definitely that he's too gentleman.
I'm assuming it was challenging for everybody. I mean, and that might be a good sort of transition to the producer of, what were some of the sort of special issues that he might have dealt with that, were things that in his past films he didn't have to.
فکر می‌کنید چه تفاوتی بین این فیلم و فیلم‌های دیگه‌ای که شما قبلا انجام دادین داشته؟ چه سختی‌هایی این فیلم داشته که شاید مثلا فیلم دیگه‌تون نداشته؟
من فکر کنم که فیلم آمین اولین ویژگیش نسبتی که محمد و مهدی ترابیعی با این سوژه دارن نوع نگاهشون به سوژه در کنارش ساختن همچون فیلم‌هایی تو ایران شدت کار سختیه و شاید اگر ما سوژه هایی رو شروع می‌کردیم کار می‌کردیم که غیر از این بود خیلی ساده‌تر بود و خیلی الان در واقع تو سینما ایران مطرح شده بود. اما به دلیل اینکه این سوژه یک سری ممیزی‌هایی رو تو ایران داره، همینجور که بهتی گفت که راجع به کسایی که صحبت می‌کنیم که تو جامعه ما نه زن می‌دونیمشون نه اتفاقی که می‌فته اینه که مجموعه ساختاری که ایران وجود داره این جنس فیلم‌ها رو در واقع تو ماهی از اتفاق نگه فیلم شرایطی براش ایجاد میشه که دیده نمیشه و اگر بخواد در واقع شرایطی براش اتفاق بیفته که این فیلم دیده بشه باید یه کمک دیگه‌ای در واقع در کنارش
All right, he's saying that the most important thing about this movie is the way that the co-directors were looking at the subject, were looking at the content. So making a movie like this with this subject and this topic in Iran is hard enough, and with the censorship and everything, it makes it even more harder than everything that Amir did ever before. The thing is that when you're making a movie about a kind of people, a kind of community, kind of people who are not women and not men, it's something different than what usually people look at the community and look at the society. The movie would not be seen. So this is the most important thing, that people cannot see your movie. Your movie would not be in a position to be screened good enough, to have good opportunity for theatrical release, to be shown in the television, to be shown in the platforms and things like that.
اون چیزی که تو تمام فیلمایی که من همیشه ساختم بحث انسان توش مطرح بوده از اولین فیلمایی که ساختم اکثر فیلم‌ها و اون چیزی که من فکر می‌کنم در واقع همین سوژه است انسان و ابعادش اینجا هم در واقع داریم راجع به همون ابعاد انسانی صحبت می‌کنیم حالا انسانی با شکل و شمایلی و تمایلات متفاوتش که از نظر ما هیچ فرقی با دیگران نداره و به همه اندازه دارای جایگاه و ارزشه منتها در جامعه‌هایی و جوامعی که شاید این درک درستی براشون اتفاق نیفتاده مورد سوء استفاده قرار می‌گیرن و این فیلم در واقع داره این فضا رو در واقع ایجاد میکنه که ما در واقع متوجه بشیم با تمام کسایی که مواجهیم انسان هستن و روابط انسانیمون بیشتر حاکمه تا روابط و قوانین اجتماعی.
What he has done before, I mean, all the movies that he did before was kind of human-centric. And what we are talking right now is human-centric as well. What we are talking is about the position and the basis of a human. It doesn't matter if it's a man, if it's a woman, if it's a transsexual, it doesn't matter. And what we are talking in this movie about is that these minority, this being a minority community should not be a way that people can use you. People can use those people and those communities. We should talk and we should respect each other and we should just put one first priority when we are communicating with the people, and that priority is that all of the people that we are talking to, they are human. No matter if it's gay, if it's sexual, if it's transsexual, if it's man, or if it's woman, or if it's kid.
Oh, that's perfect. Thank you for that sentiment, because that's sort of what we preach as a festival, is the inclusion, and that we're not much different than anybody else. So to hear you say that and sort of the motivation of the movie is perfect. So thank you for that sentiment. Did you have any difficulties in the casting because of the type of film you were making, or were you able to show them that, as we just mentioned, that people are people and it shouldn't matter, we are all humans?
توی کاستینگی که داشتیم به خاطر موضوع مختلف فیلمتون هیچ مشکلی داشتیم کسی که مثلا به خاطر موضوع مندنی مثلا
And they're fabulous, by the way.
آره و ما یه جایی مجبور شدیم که پنهان کنیم از یکی از برای بعضی از عوامل پنهان کنیم که موضوعمون چیه.
Yes, they're saying that they had this problem, and at some points they were supposed to hide the main story of the movie from some of the cast that they are using.
ولی کلا بازخوردش کسایی که ما عنوان کسب میلیون خواستیم باشیم مطرح کردیم بیان سر کار خیلی استقبال خوبی بود.
یعنی اکتوراتون
آره همه دغدغه اینو داشتن که راجع به این LGBT‌ها بخوان یه نگاه متفاوتی داشته باشن در جامعه.
But so many of the people that they have reached out and they became to be the part of this project, they were the people who supported this idea and supported the idea of talking about these minority people.
البته یه ترنسفوبی تو جامعه هنری کمتره ولی تو مردم خیلی زیاده.
Anyway, in the artistic community, there's not much of a phobia about transsexuals, but in the majority of the people, I mean, in the society, there's a lot of that.
در واقع ما یه آشناشون کردیم با موضوع. وقتی آشنا شدن با موضوع این حساسیت داره.
And some of the people who were sensitive about these subjects when they were joining the project, after they became familiar with the project and became familiar with the idea and what they're doing, they were not afraid of that anymore at the end of the project.
It's great. I love the fact that we're not only changing audiences, but we're changing the community.
Yeah, we always say that people are afraid of the thing that they don't know. So many times you are afraid because you don't know. But when you know, you're not going to be afraid anymore.
Yep, we're just people. Can you talk a little bit about the fact that we never see Amen? It's the voice. It's the it's the person who is a wholly developed character, yet we never see them. Was that always the plan, and sort of why was that the way it was?
راجب من دارم می‌پرسه که آمین رو ندیدیم همیشه برنامه‌تون همین بوده و می‌خواستیم که اون کاراکتر دیده نشه با وجودی که کاراکتری می‌بینیم که کامل دیولپ شده تمام داستان رو داره پیش میبره ولی ما هیچ وقت نمی‌بینیمش همیشه نگاهتون این بوده.
بله چند تا دلیلم داشت. یکیش که به خاطر اینکه خب محدودیتی که خود کاراکترمون داشت یعنی بازیگرمون داشت و چون در واقع کاموت نکرده بود اصطلاحاً که همون آشکارسازیه و هویتش باید پنهان میمون. در صدی در واقع یه ایده اصلی این بود که اینا اولین زندان از تن و بدنشون شروع میشه، یعنی تو جامعه‌ای زندگی میکنن که براشون این محدودیت ها وجود داره، تنشون نسبت به خودشون انگار یک حس زندانی دارن و این پی او وی این که ما از نظرگاه یک چیز در واقع از پی او وی به ما کمک میکرد که حس زندانی بودن رو داشته باشیم. سومش هم به این دلیل بود که در واقع دوربین رو به خاطر اینکه یعنی از جلوی از جهان رو در واقع 76 دقیقه مثل ترنس ببینیم چه شکلی مثل یه آدم مثل این.
Okay, yes, they had some ideas about how to do it. So the first one, I mean, the first issue was that the character, I mean, Amin, who is playing the lead, she didn't announce that she is a transsexual. So we couldn't just put her in front of the camera and say that, okay, this is Amin and this is a transsexual. So to prevent of showing his face and keeping his identity as a secret, we were supposed to have it in a POV. But there were some more artistic and more content reasons that we had for not showing him. First of all, is that these transsexual people, they are, in a way, they are kept in their own body as a prisoner. So we wanted to show that these people are kept as a prisoner, and on a POV, we are looking maybe from outside of the window of a prison cell. And we wanted, at the end, to see the world through the eye of a transsexual for the whole time of the movie. And so we wanted to give people this experience and see how the world looks like when you're a transsexual.
It was perfect. It was not only unique and different, it was a perfect way to tell the story. And it was so powerful, I think, because of that. One of the other things that fascinated me is Nasser and some of the other sort of ancillary characters who are sort of doing something we might think of as deplorable, yet you sort of have empathy for them. You sort of understand. I mean, it's the love of Annie their daughter, they're going, you know, it's like you want to hate them, yet something doesn't let you hate them. Can you talk a little bit about sort of how you develop those characters and maybe why at least I feel the way that I feel about them?
میگه کاراکتری مثل ناصر و زنش کاراکتری هستن که ما ممکنه فکر بکنیم که این کاراکتر واقعا کار خبیثانه‌ای دارن انجام میدن، اما از یک جنبه دیگه وقتی بهشون نگاه میکنیم میبینیم که خب بالاخره به خاطر عشقی که به بچه‌شون دارن اونا دارن تمام تلاششون رو میکنن و میتونیم باهاشون همزاد پنداری بکنیم. چطوری تونستین این کاراکترها رو اینجوری دیولپ بکنیم که در عین حال که ازشون بعدمون بیاد در عین حال هم بتونیم باهاشون احساس همزاد پنداری بکنیم؟
خب خلق یک شخصیت خاکستری در واقع تو فیلم خب خیلی برامون جذابه. توی مثلا دنیای مدرن دیگه در واقع پرداختن به یک شخصیت خاکستری چیز خیلی خوشحالیم که از اون زاویه میشه دید، ولی در این حال تلاشمون راستش شاید نقض غرض شده. تلاشمون بود که یک جنایت خیلی پاک و تمیز رو نشون
نگویم.
خب پس آره خودت فکر می‌کردی
خاکستری بودنش خوبه دیگه.
آره.
But they wanted to have a gray character who is not that bad and also not that good. I mean, I was thinking about something when they were talking about this. It says that you are always the bad man in someone's story. So it doesn't matter how good you think you're always bad in someone's story. We wanted to make people great because we are not in a world that we have pure black people. So these are normal people just like we. Maybe if we were in a position like that, maybe we could do the same. Maybe we could do the same to save someone we love.
که شما در طرف بتونی احساس خوبی داشته باشی.
Because you can feel good on both ways.
Yeah, I like really wanted to hate them, yet I couldn't because I sort of understood their motivation. So I appreciated that fact. Let's go back to the production. Was everything done pre-COVID, and then you sort of had to decide what to do? Were things done during COVID? Talk a little bit about sort of how the effect of COVID affected the film.
میگن که در زمان کووید هم کاری انجام دادین یا اکثرش قبل از کووید بوده یا کووید چجوری تونسته کارتون رو تحت تاثیر قرار بده؟
قبل از خوشبختانه پروداکشن ما تا به محض اینکه تمام شد کووید شروع شد. یعنی یه چیز جالبی اتفاق افتاد تو این قضیه. ما فقط توی پست پروداکشنش مشکل خوردیم.
تدوین و صداگذاری استاجر.
But luckily the main production part was done right before COVID. But what happened during the COVID time was the post production, that for the sound design and for the music and for editing, that all of that happened during the COVID and just caused a lot of problem because of the COVID. Just postponed everything and just made the release of the movie later.
در واقع یه جوری این قرارداد ما رو تو موقعیتی که آمین توش گرفتار شده بود سعی می‌کرد. یعنی دقیقاً داشتیم تجربهش می‌کردیم.
Well, being in quarantine these days and during the COVID time put us in a position to see how Amin was feeling. This being in position put us in the cage, put us in the prison.
That's perfect. That's a great analogy. Sort of an out of left field. How is it working together? Are the brothers, Mehdi and Mohammed? So you still seem to get along very well. But how, that to me is fascinating because it's really such an in-depth, you're with each other a lot. So how is that working? Did you find that was because you were brothers that it worked even better than it might have, or?
فکر می‌کنید که با هم برادر هستین بهتر تونستین کار بکنین یا نه کار بود که شما رو کنار هم دیگه قرار داد؟
خب قبلا کار کوتاه محمد جان توضیح بده.
نمیگه ما خب کار کوتاه با هم خیلی انجام دادیم، کار کردیم و اینا، ولی خب ما در واقع اونقدر با هم دیگه نزدیک هستیم به لحاظ حسی و فکری، انگار شما فرض کنید که یک روح در دو بدن و اینقدر
قرابت و نزدیکی به سوژه، به موقعیت میشینیم. ما مدت‌های زیادی سر همین که الان داریم بحث میکنیم، این شکل‌گیری این کرکتر آمین و اینکه اصلا این تحقیق و پژوهشی که انجام دادیم راجع به این کار که رفتیم سمت اون جامعه LGBT ها توی ایران و اون در واقع بازیگرمون رو حتی انتخاب کردیم، همه اینا زمانهای خیلی زیادی رو ما در واقع وقت ما رو گرفت که بپردازیم به این مسئله.
Well, you're saying that before everything we were brothers and we've been doing short movies before. So in this time, I mean, living with each other and being brother, it's just made us close in terms of artistic view and thinking view. So he's saying that you can call us one soul in two bodies. So we're almost the same person. And that is because we've been doing a lot of talking with each other. We've been sharing a lot of information with each other during the research and development of this idea and this movie, and talking about LGBT community and talking about the people and meeting them and talking about how to make a movie like this. So being a brother and being colleagues all together made us just be more and more powerful.
I love that power. We're running out of time, but I have a few more questions, and one is just this Amen wants to be who she wants to be so badly that she's willing to do this thing that's just unthinkable for most of us. So sort of, and I think the way you portray it is exactly that way, but talk a little bit about, you know, sort of the power in that moment or the power of that knowledge.
میگه آمین یه کاری رو داره میکنه، انقدر یه چیزی رو میخواد که حاضره یه کاری رو بکنه که برای خیلی از ما قابل تصور نیست. حتی نظرت خودتون راجع به این چی، راجع به که این قدرت رو داشته تا بتونه این کار رو انجام بده؟ حالا من خودم نظر دارم، میگم من مثلا شما بگین منو قد میکنم بهش.
یعنی منظورش تصمیم نهایی که میگیره
انقدر دلش میخواسته این کار رو انجام بده،
میپذیره به زندان. آره. خب این در واقع انقدر توی این از همون ابتدا تو زندان بوده. زندانی که تازه داره میره نسبت به زندانی که توش بوده کمتر زندان به حساب میاد. حداقل اونجا دیگه تو اونجا که وکیل میگه حداقل اونجا بند زناست دیگه، هویت خودشو پیدا کرده. مثلا اونجا توی زنها احتمالاً امنیت بیشتری داره، تو زندان امنیت رو انتخاب میکنه. در مقابل آزادی اگه دو تا طیف حساب کنیم، آزادی و امنیت، به ناچار این امنیت رو انتخاب میکنه. فکرم خیلی
All right, he's saying that Amin was lying before in a prison. I mean, she decided to go to a prison, but to change her body, to become what she wanted to be. But she was lying before in a cage. She was lying before in a prison, and she decided that this new prison is much more better. Is much more better than the prison that she was before. She decided to have at least her own freedom. As her own, because she was going to a prison that all the people are women. So she would be at least in her own community.
اینکه جامعه زندان‌تر از خود زندانم هست. اگه می‌خواید این کار
Yeah, he added something that I wanted to add, but he stole it from me. Anyway, so he's saying that she is escaping from a prison by the name of society and going to somewhere else. So basically, we are saying that no matter if you are living in your body or you're not living in your body, if you are in a prison or not, definitely it's a prison. Even society, for these people, for this community, is a prison. It doesn't matter, you are not in a cage. You can live, you can walk on the street, you can go shopping, but anyway, you can feel that you are not free.
Very well put. You'd mentioned earlier, we briefly discussed about the fact that it might be difficult for this film to be seen in Iran. Is that a factor? How do you know, can you do festivals and not theatrical? I mean, what are some things that can be done that maybe people, you know, who we always say like need to see the film can see the film? It's just, it's heartbreaking that other people won't be able to experience this, you know, the people within the country. So can you talk a little bit about that subject and censorship?
صحبت کردیم که فیلمتون ممکنه دیده نشه داخل ایران. چه جوریه؟ چه محدودیتایی وجود داره؟ یعنی ممکنه که اکران نتونیم خوب بگیریم. چجوری میتونیم کار رو به دست مردم برسونیم؟
خب در واقع توی این جنس فیلم ها از یه طرف بخوایش نگاه کنی یه ذره موقعیت خاصی دارن. علیرغم اینکه هنرپیشه‌ای که تو فیلم بازی کردن هنرپیشه‌های مطرحی هستن، هم خانم رعنا آزادی و هم آقای مهدی پاکدل و هم فرید، اینا در واقع علیرغم اینکه هنرپیشه‌های قابل، ما داریم تلاش می‌کنیم برای اینکه اگر بتوانیم فیلم رو اکران کنیم. متاسفانه چند تا پارامتر کنار هم دیگه خورد. این کووید 19 باعث شد که سینما تعطیل بشه و این تعطیلی سینماها شاید اگر نبود میتونستیم فیلم اکران کنیم. حالا با توجه به شرایطی که اتفاق افتاده امیدواریم که شاید به صورت آنلاین میتونیم اکرانش بکنیم و فکر میکنیم با توجه به هنرپیشه‌های خوبی که داره، درام خوبی که فیلم داره، بتونیم در واقع شرایطی ایجاد کنیم دیده بشه. منتها خب کمک فستیوال ها رو میخوایم، چون باعث میشه که توجه کنم به ما توی ایران و این توجه برامون به جدت مهمه، به خصوص اگر اینکه در واقع اینا تبدیل به یک جوایزی هم بشه، قطعا شرایطی ایجاد میکنه که این جنس فیلم در ایران به مناطق بهتر دیده بشه و مورد توجه قرار بگیره.
Or the movie has a special condition, we all know that, but also that the movie has good actor and actresses like Rana Azadi, Mehdi Patel, Farid Samawati, they're all known and people know them, but being in a COVID time made us in a position that we cannot release our movie in the theaters. So the theaters are closed. The only option is left for us would be to maybe put the movie on the VOD platforms that are working here in Iran. And because of the movie has good actors and actresses, and because the movie has a good drama and story, maybe the people would just go and watch it for that. After they would watch it for that, for the story and for the maybe actors and the cast, maybe they would also know about the story and the idea that we have. But some of the things that can help really much for making the movie be seen in Iran and even worldwide with the festival helps. If we can just have the festival appreciations and maybe awards, that would just maybe give more attention to the movie, and people would just want to see what we did that movie. Just like what we just always do, we go to see the movie, as won Academy Awards and things like that. So this would take the attention. This would bring the attention to the movie.
Well, we're very happy and excited that it's in part of our festival. We thank you.
Yeah, definitely. You are that festival help for us right now.
And we're happy to continue to help. One final question, and I think you sort of alluded to this, you know, throughout the discussion, but what's the takeaway? What you see the movie sort of to remember and to think about as they, you know, exit the theater or, you know, shut down their computer?
Sorry, you were breaking up.
Yeah, sorry about that, my internet. We call it the takeaway, the one thing, or, you know, what you want people who leave the theater or the computer screen to think about as they leave, what to sort of.
میگه فکر می‌کنید تیک‌اوی مردم چیه؟ یعنی چیزی که در نهایت وقتی که فیلم دیدن از سینما میاد بیرون تو ذهنشون نقش می‌بنده از این فیلم، چی میتونه باشه از این فیلم؟
در واقع ایده اولیه‌مون که اینکه یه خورده نسبت به این آدم‌ها همدردی بیشتری پیدا کنن. اینها رو در واقع خیلی چون اینا به اندازه کافی منزوی هستن توی جامعه، تبعیض براشون خیلی شدت، در واقع خودشون رو بذارن جای این آدم، یعنی یه بار خودشون رو در واقع فراتر از جنسیت به حساب بیارن، نه زن یا مرد، یه جوری این شکلی مثل اینا جهان نگاه کنن. بحث همدردی است و درک پذیرفتن اینجور آدم‌های متفاوت تو جامعه مثلا 0% مثل ایران که جنسیت مثل 0%
جمله هم بهش اضافه کنم که همین اضافه ما مخصوصا تو فیلم وقتی نمیذاره کسی دیده بشه یک اذیت میکنه تماشاچی رو در طول زمانی که داره ببینه و این همون اتفاقیه که برای آدمای اینجوری اتفاق افتاد تو جامعه ما. این ندیده شدنشون، اینکه دیده نمیشن، این اذیت خیلی در واقع تاثیرگذاره توی حسی که به مخاطب میذاره. برای اینکه اونا چه موقعاتون کردن اینجوری که من
All right. One of the thing is that when you are watching a movie, you as the audience would be bothered that why I cannot see the main character. So this why I cannot see the main character is the problem that transsexual and minority community are facing every day. Why I cannot be seen. So this is the question and the problem that they have every day. But for a short period of time, for the movie, you are bothered and you are feeling why I cannot see these people. Maybe this would help that you would see after the movie all the people equal. Maybe humanity is the takeaway of this movie.
That is a perfect ending. Thank you so much, Mohammed, Amir, Mehdi. Appreciate your film. It was beautiful. It was touching. It was powerful. And your insights to what we have seen were tremendous. So thank you all so much. We wish you best of luck, and hopefully the film will get out there and get seen both by the people who already understand the complexities of transsexuals as well as those who don't. So that is our hope. Thank you again for making it. Thank you again for allowing us to screen it, and good luck. Keep making great films, and we hope to see you again, and maybe next time in person.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. And with that, I believe we're going to leave you with the trailer, and happy OUTshine.
لاغری تو اسمت چیه؟
شناسنامه کارت ملی چی امراته؟
دستت چی شده؟ خودزنی کردی؟
یونان ازت از سر انگشت گرفتن؟
برای چی اومدی اینجا؟ چی کارت داره؟
بلدی جیغ بزنی؟
چند درصد خودتو زن حس میکنی؟
چیه؟ هنوز هیچی نشده پنیک زدی؟
برو یه جایی که دستشون بهت نرسه.